Alright guys, I want to do a video about taking a step back from the policy lifestyle at university. And I've talked about this in a very positive light, like a lot of people do, because it's a very good thing, like, to sort of step away from all the superficial side of that and focus on important things like, you know, bettering yourself and everything else. But there is a side to it that I actually find quite. I sort of. I was listening to a podcast with Chris Williamson and Mike Dunstan, and these guys obviously very successful now, and they were sort of talking about how they stopped drinking very much. Kind of got into this process of living a sort of disciplined life that brought them fulfillment, kind of like what I talk about and what everyone in the self-help world will talk about. And they said, I agreed with everything they said, but there was one thing that stuck out for me about it, and that was that they said that they had drunk. They didn't say this, but this is the best way of conveying it. They seem to have really drunken deeply of their pleasure, of their sort of hedonistic, stupid, drunken lifestyle, before they gave it up, such that they kind of had enough of it by the time they decided to give it up. Now, for me, I don't think I feel quite the same way. My life's got very much better since I've rejected that kind of lifestyle. But has it actually got? I didn't kind of get fed up with it, and I don't really think that I drunk my fill of the party lifestyle in the way that I would have liked to. I never really got it out of my system. And it's funny because I'm in a position now where, to a large extent, partly because I'm living a more interesting life that I guess more people want to hang out with me, maybe. But maybe just coincidence as well. I'm in a position now where, if I want to, I can just go out whenever, and I find myself in a position now where I'm really turning down lots of invitations. Not lots, but a fair amount of invitations to just live that kind of party lifestyle, because I know it's just not really worth it. And I mean, it's weird recording this video because I kind of think, well, what's the problem? It's really hard to explain. It's like, okay, so it's like I can't think to myself, okay, well, should we just go out? If you feel like you hadn't gone out enough, maybe go out now. And it's like, no, that's not the point. Like, I just don't really want to, Yeah, it's a really weird one. It's a really, really weird one. I kind of, I don't know how better to explain it than that. It's just kind of knowing. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah. It's just I know that it's a waste of my time, but I still regret that. But now that I kind of realise that, I can't sort of go back and. I'm not saying I didn't go out a fair bit when I was, a year ago. But I feel like there's something I missed in, my friends didn't really go out very much. So I'd sort of, I got pretty good at going out by myself or going out with people I didn't really know terribly well. That was kind of, there wasn't much of kind of it would be a prees in our flat and everyone would come around. You know, that kind of scene, it's never really existed for me. But I'm in a place now where I could manifest it. It could exist if I wanted it to, but I just don't, because everything else is too important. But yet I still regret that I didn't experience it. So, yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know if this is a common problem that people have. I mean, I think part of it is that I've just improved myself more. So, more sort of, you know, doors open for you to do whatever you want when you're more attractive of a person, you know, in all senses. You know, it's the whole camping club principle. Your doors just open up for you the whole time. So that's part of the reason. It's just because I value my time more, basically. But I somehow think some of it is just coming out of COVID and finding my feet with everything. So yeah, it's a weird problem. I mean, I don't really call it a problem, but it's, yeah, I mean, I wonder if it's a normal thing that people go through. Well, I mean, do you really, is that how people should give up the party life? Is it a case of drinking really deeply and then being fed up of it? Or is it just, can you ever drink enough of the party life? I mean, people talk about religious faith in a similar way, that like the more you, how does it work? The more you sort of allow God to reveal himself to you. I'm not religious, by the way, but the more you allow God to reveal himself to you, like the more you believe him. Is that kind of thing. Which is a bit like, I don't know, it sounds a bit silly, but I kind of get where they're coming from in this situation, because the more, you know, I always thought when I was sort of partying and stuff that, you know, and just doing all that stuff, I thought there'd come a point where I was bored of it, and then I could just move on and live a disciplined life. But actually, it feels like the more I reject it, the more convinced I am that it's the right thing to do. It's not a case of drinking deeply of it and then you're fed up of it. It's more like you get onto something else and then you see, actually, that it's a bit of a waste of time. So maybe trying to drink deeply of it at all is a non-starter, really. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't think the thing for me to do is to go out partying loads more. I mean, I don't want to get carried away. I still want to have a social life. But really, I'm a busy guy. I'm a very busy guy. And I've got a lot to do myself to be the person I want to be. And if I'm not doing that in my life, then I can't really enjoy socialising or you know, pleasurable, that sort of. Yeah, so the idea of going out partying is like, it's not worth it unless I'm doing everything else. And I've got a long way to go, believe me. So, yeah. This is something I've observed. Yeah.